Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about the properties of water. So you need to be familiar with some of the properties of water, and so I would make sure you write these things down in some notes, and the heading I would make properties of water. So the main thing about water is, well, there's a lot of things about water, but we all know that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, or it can be 212 Fahrenheit. The freezing point is 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And the pH of water is 7, so it should be neutral. So let me see where to start here. Let's start up here with cohesion. So cohesion is a property of water, and this is where the water molecules stick together through hydrogen bonding. And the reason for that is the polarity of water, and we're going to talk about that as well. Cohesion forces allow water to form droplets or beads and make surface tension possible. So if you are familiar with bugs that walk on water, that is because of the cohesion of water. So what happens is we have H2O, and the larger circle here is oxygen, and the smaller circles are hydrogen. And then we have a bond between the hydrogen and oxygens from the molecules themselves. So let me see if I can circle this. So you have this bond right here that bonds between this oxygen and that hydrogen. And that is called a hydrogen bond. This bonding makes cohesion possible. So the next thing I want to talk about is polarity. The electrons are unevenly distributed in water. So basically what happens is oxygen is hogging the electrons most of the time. So if you look at this right here, is where we're at. Oxygen is hogging the electrons most of the time. And so hydrogen does not get the electrons very much. And because of that, hydrogen has a positive charge, whereas oxygen will then have a negative charge. These charges, or poles, is what gives water its polarity. Polarity is what makes these hydrogen bonds possible that I showed you up here, and that's what gives us the property of cohesion. Alright, so I'm just going down around this way. So one unique thing about water is that it occurs in all three states. So solids, liquids, and gases. And this is unique for liquids, though we may think that all liquids do this. They do not. And so the fact that we can have the liquid, the ice, and the gas of water all basically on the earth is unique for water. So then we're going to move over here and talk about the density of water. So water is unique in that it expands in its solid state when it becomes ice, which you should know that if you've ever put something in the freezer and then it breaks the container, it is less dense as a solid than it is as a liquid. And what that does is it gives us ice cubes, and the ice cubes float. So the density of water is 1 gram per cubic centimeter at 4 degrees Celsius. But the fact that it's solid floats in the liquid is a very unique property of water. Then we will move over here to specific heat. Specific heat, basically it takes a lot of energy to heat up water. And if you've ever tried to heat up water to like boil some pasta or something like that, you know it takes a while to be able to do that. So water has a high specific heat, meaning that it absorbs and holds a lot of heat energy without changing its temperature too quickly. So it takes a long time for us to heat up water. Another property of water is it is a universal solvent. So water is a solvent that can dissolve most solids. So it dissolves sugar and salt, and it can even dissolve some gases like carbon dioxide. Water acts as a solvent in many of our bodily processes, the things that happen in our body. and water is good at dissolving polar molecules and ions. So continuing up around our circle, we'll move up to adhesion. Water molecules stick to other substances such as glass or wood. Adhesion of water to the xylem tissue of plants results in a capillary action, and this is what makes the water move up the plant against the pull of gravity so the plant can have the water. So that would be the property of adhesion. Surface tension is another property of water, and this is where the bugs walk on the water, also because of this hydrogen bonding over here. So surface tension allows insects like water striders to walk on the surface of water. The cohesion between the water molecules makes this possible. So these water molecules are all connected together through this hydrogen bonding, which kind of makes a curve to the water, which makes it possible for bugs to walk on the water. If we were meeting tonight, we would have done a little lab with pennies to try to see how many drops of water we could get on a penny, and also to try and float a paper clip on water. So if you have paper clips at home, fill a small cup up with water all the way to the top until you can see the curvature, and try to float a paper clip on it. Alright, so that is our discussion on the properties of water.